Hey everybody, welcome back to the VIP Financial Ed channel. We're here for another very exciting episode. This is part 2 of our how to get involved in real estate investing with little to no money out of your own pocket. And we're talking about how to use hard money to do that. We've got some case studies coming up. Very exciting episode. You don't want to miss any of it, so stick around. All right, guys, welcome back. My name is Matthew Pillmore. I'm the president of VIP Financial Education. This is Kevin Amolsch. Kevin is the founder of Pine Financial Group, one of the single best hard money lenders here in the Denver metro area as well as Minnesota. So if you're in any of those two areas, you have a distinct advantage over everybody else listening, because you can contact Pine and his team and you guys will be well taken care of. Now, we do have a very special gift giveaway that is coming at the end of this training. Kevin is also the author of the 45-Day Investor, very cool read regarding how to get your feet wet. Hopefully you have more than one and you want to get in and get out there and start investing. This is how you do it. Kevin is somebody that can teach you how to do it with very little of your own money. Also, Kevin is extremely familiar with our concepts and utilizing debt weapons. In fact, hard money is a form of debt weapon, and it's all about how to leverage and borrow correctly and treat money with the respect that it deserves, treat debt with the respect it deserves. It's a very dangerous tool when used improperly, and it's the single biggest reason that we saw people failing in the last downturn. So we want to make sure that you guys are safe as you get into using hard money as we approach the next bear market. It's certain to come. I mean, it's just a matter of time. And if we could position you well, you guys can be all set to create massive wealth during that period. You can also start taking advantage of this stuff here today. So if you haven't yet checked out the part 1 of this 2-part series, make sure you do that. Let's dive right in. Let's talk about these case studies because we just want the math to do the talking for us.
And before we get too far in this, I want your viewers to know this. I know many of you have gone out and done different education, different coaching and that kind of thing. And a lot of you are frustrated and might be frustrated and the deals aren't working. And we see this all the time. And I just want to share with you that it's really not your fault. These gurus out there, they've got holes in their products, they got holes in their systems, and very different than Matt, what you're providing out there. I've seen it here locally, so I know what's going on all over the country. Some of the bigger national gurus are hiring coaches, and the coaches aren't even doing deals.
We call them coaches.
It's scary. They don't know how to do a deal because they've never lived it. When you live something, you know it. So you work with Matt, read the 45-Day Investor. That's the only coaching I would do. I don't do any education or anything other than an $8 book, but it's stuff that I've actually done. So I just want to share that with you. And I know you're practicing what you're preaching, and it's a big deal. It's important to pick the right people to work with.
And I think a lot of these companies that travel all over the country, they grow so fast. There's so many dollars spent into the marketing aspect. You've probably heard some of the radio ads.
Well, they land a TV show and they become famous overnight, and then they could just charge 30, 40, 50 grand.
That's right. And here's the problem. A lot of the actual service fulfillment portion of this becomes compromised. You're dealing with folks, like he said, who are hired on and given a title of coaches, but aren't necessarily experienced or qualified to be giving information. So I think one of the similarities that Pine Financial Group and VIP Financial Education have shared over the years that we've known each other is this really long history of staff members staying on.
Oh, that's right.
We haven't hired a coach since 2009. So if that tells you anything about the experience that we have, Kevin's the same way. I mean, his team has been with him year after year after year, so they know what they're talking about. And you just have to be very cautious as you get into the space of real estate, because there are plenty of people that will love to tell you what you want to hear. And it's more important that you have people who tell you what you need to know. And so Kevin is going to do that.
That's what we're going to do today. I wanted to just share that with you because I know there's some frustration out there, and it's not your fault. We're going to go through it right now. You're going to see exactly how this works.
Perfect.
Episode 1, we went through the 8 steps, the process. So let's dig into the numbers.
Love it. Let's see it. So we're going to go through case study number 1, Worcester Street.
Worcester Street.
Worcester
This
Street.
is in a popular neighborhood in Denver. If you're from the area, it's called Montbello. I love the neighborhood because there's a good high rent number to values. This is a project, we're gonna do 2 case studies, okay? This is the one that I personally did, and I still own the property. So you can see what it was like when I bought it, what that turned into today. And then we're gonna do one for a client that we just closed. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. They just finished out a refinance, getting us paid back. So you're gonna have a real current one and one that was done in more of a bear market that you were talking about.
Okay.
So we can just see how this plays out.
Let's see it. All
Okay,
right.
so the purchase price I bought it for was $71,000. And the repairs $10,000. Now it's not a lot of repair money for a rental property. And the reason for that is we're not going that, new cabinets, new granite countertops, new appliances. Everything's like used appliances, Formica countertops if we need them. We're finishing cabinet faces or painting them. We're going low end. What I'm more concerned about with my rehab on a rental is making it as non-destructible as possible. Does that even make sense?
Of course, and I think what we've tried to impress upon you as a listener in the past in other trainings is the fact that creating a rent-ready product is completely different than creating a sale-ready product. Something that you're trying to market to a buyer needs to be much higher quality finishes than something that you're trying to market to a tenant. You just want the stuff to last. So you can oftentimes end up spending something like 50 cents on the dollar on some of these repairs over a sale-ready type of finish. So don't go in there and start creating something that you would want to live in, right?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
You're buying your appliances off Craigslist, for example.
I like it.
Okay, closing costs, $4,500. This is going to cover all the hard money lending fees and the title fees, county fees, recording fees, all of that.
Okay.
This one was $4,500. Okay?
Great.
So if you add those three numbers together, you're going to get your acquisition. Your acquisition is always your purchase, your repairs, and your closing costs.
Okay.
In this case, $85,500.
All right.
Okay. The value when I bought it, it appraised for $120,000. Okay, so the hard money loan I was able to borrow, $84,000. That's going to be 70% of the after repaired value, which is the $120. That's after it's been fixed up. Okay, so you can see this isn't a no money down deal. It's more of a low money down deal, but I'm going to ask you how many of you viewers out there would do this deal?
Well, let me ask you this. How many viewers out there, if we were able to get you a $15,000 debt weapon, of which you could use $1,500 10 times, would go out there and do this deal 10 times? What's this property worth today?
We're going to get into that.
Okay.
So 1,500. You went so fast.
Well, I'm excited.
Not sure if
I'm
your
excited.
viewers
You know
even
why
heard.
I'm excited? Because I know that
you know.
buying properties at $71,000 didn't happen anytime over the last couple of years, and that's the beauty of what we're talking about here, guys. You can get in on the ground level on this stuff. I'm
You'll
not
be
suggesting
ready for the next bear
that's right.
market.
Don't try and time the market, but when the timing happens and you understand what we're doing here, you guys can get in.
You'll see it. So you're out of pocket $1,500. My out of pocket was $1,500. Okay, continue on. We have to refinance the loan like we talked about in the first video. So the refinance costs $2,500.
Okay.
You were a mortgage broker. I was a mortgage broker. We know we have to get paid when we're doing a refinance. That covers the new title fees and the lender fees. Okay? You're able to roll that into the new loan. We talked about Pine Financial and a lot of other hard money lenders loaning 70% of the after repaired value. Fannie Mae guidelines, not that hard to qualify for, is 75%.
Right. So you get an extra 5% margin
little
in the
play.
refinance that can help start to cover not just that original $1,500 that you paid, but also some of the closing costs, right?
Yeah, roll the closing costs in, or if there's a difference in appraisals, because that's really the risk, and maybe we should talk about that.
What are the risks?
So the biggest risk is if you get an appraisal for $120,000 with your hard money lender, and you go to get your refinance done, and it appraises for less. So you got to have some strategies there to make sure it appraises at or close to the 120. And you have an appraisal in your hand that you just did 2 months ago. It would behoove you to bring that with you and show up when you let the appraiser in the house and say, look, I just have an appraisal. Would this help you reduce your workload if I handed this to you?
Okay.
And the comps are still going to be valid in most cases. And I've had a lot of experience with that, positive experience with that, where the appraisal comes in at $120,000. Can you believe it?
And what is the likelihood of the appraisal coming out higher? And it's just as good as the appraisal coming out lower, right? Especially in a bull market, it could come out higher.
It could, but we're talking about a 2-month time, and appraisers are scared to death right now. So I think they're more conservative than aggressive. So I don't see a lot coming in higher, even though maybe the property is worth more.
Okay, so let's analyze a far worst case scenario.
Okay.
What happens when the property values decline rapidly, unexpectedly, because we start to experience that upcoming bear market? What happens then if they cannot refinance out of the hard money loan?
So there's going to be a couple of options that you have if you can't get the refinance done. But I want to share with you that if you're in that position, you probably made a mistake. We want you to get pre-qualified for that refinance before you ever buy the property and own it. That will help protect you. Now, if you see a reduction in the appraised value, let's say 10,000, which would be significant, down to 110. Well, how much were we into this for? 85.5. Do you think there's enough room to sell the property and get out of it without losing money?
So listing it, putting it up on the market versus, creating a property that you're selling by accident versus a property that
that's
choosing
worst case scenario. I mean, maybe you have another debt weapon like Matt alluded to, and you use that to help cover the difference.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure. I kind of assumed that would be the case. So what happens with the cash flow position on this property after you buy it?
So the refinance loan on this one was 86.5 because we rolled in all of the closing costs for the refinance. And back then, the PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, was $663.
Oof. And if you're looking for a 1% rental income, 1% of the after repair value of the property, right? Mm-hmm. So you're looking for a $1,250 rent.
Yeah, I'd want to be around $1,200
okay.
on that one since it was worth $120. And what do you know, it rented right at $1,200. That was the perfect neighborhood. It was the 1% rule, worked all day long. So me and people that I know that were close to me focused on that neighborhood.
So well over $500 net cash flow left over each month.
Well, gross cash flow is $537 per month, but you got a property that was recently remodeled and vacancies as low as can be. I'm pretty comfortable saying or confident that that's going to be your net cash flow also, at least in that first year. After that, you're
But
going
if
to
you
start
have some maintenance,
experiencing
if you have some
and
vacancies, then obviously it takes away
It'll
from the
come down a little, yeah.
537 was the gross.
It's 537 gross in that first year. And if we're going to calculate a return on investment, this one took, I think it was 2 months to get it fully tenanted, rehabbed, and then refinanced.
Ready?
Okay, so let's calculate the return on your investment here. We got to start with the monthly cash flow, turn that into an annual cash flow.
Okay.
So you take the 537 times that by 12 months.
Okay,
and that's going to get you $6,444 every single year.
Great.
Okay. We got to calculate the money you have out of pocket into this, right?
That's right.
So you got
$1,500
that you have up front, plus I calculate 2 hard money loan payments before you're able to get your tenant refinanced.
Okay.
So if you add all that together, it's $3,600.
All right.
That's your out-of-pocket cost to do this deal.
Okay.
Okay, now we calculate the ROI. You just take your profit, divide by your investment, and you get an annualized rate of return. On this one, 179%.
Beautiful. I don't know very many investors that would pass that up.
No. And then you can start implementing your strategy immediately with that extra cash flow and start paying off the debt if that's your choice. But this is a high leverage way to get in and build a big, big portfolio, and that's what we're talking about today.
And that's exactly what you've been doing since this, right? So this isn't, you haven't stopped here. This property you purchased how
No,
long
I kept
ago?
it. I purchased this in 2010.
Okay, so we're now 7 years deep.
7 years.
Do we want to talk about
Let's see what it
where
looks
this
like
is where this is headed? Okay,
This
great.
is where you get excited, isn't it?
I get excited about potential over long-term potential of long-term real estate investing is the most exciting aspect for sure.
So we've paid off our mortgage a little bit, haven't we?
Absolutely. Mortgage has
now
been
we're
paid down or off.
$77,000 approximately is what our mortgage is.
If you're
right now.
amortizing it. Okay.
Right. Okay. The value, you asked a question earlier, $280,000 are what these properties are selling for over in Montbell, and that's starter pricing.
That's
anything under
unbelievable.
300 in Denver. So
Yeah, we did a couple fix and flips over there, and I wished I would have kept them.
Oh my gosh.
And there's a reason that we're not that heavily involved in flipping ourselves. We would rather see people utilize hard money debt weapons to acquire for a longer period of time and just continue to generate that passive wealth over time. So you can see why that is. We now have a $280,000 value.
$280,000. Okay, the monthly rent now is $1,850, and I got to tell you, that's not even market.
Oh my.
Travis in my office just rented one right down the street. He's hot in the neighborhood too. $1,950 a month.
Yeah. That's amazing. So you've got the 663 PITI still to go along with this, right?
That's right. I didn't pay off the loan. If I were to refinance and pay off that loan, it'd go down to about $550 with the current environment.
Okay.
Okay. Gross cash flow, $1,187 a month.
That's ridiculous. All right. And so the net.
Approximately $725, and I'm taking a vacancy factor and a maintenance factor
Of a lot.
of probably way more than I need to.
Okay.
But I get beat up sometimes that when I show gross numbers, viewers say, you're not showing me the real numbers because we have vacancies and maintenance. Here's the real numbers, you guys. Okay, $203,000 of equity, $725 per month net for the rest of my life. Actually, that will go up once I pay off that debt, right?
Oh, much so. And not to mention, you should expect some increases to rent too, right?
Increases in rent. This just is better and better and better, all for $3,600 out of my pocket.
Great. So $36,000 worth of debt weapons would get you 10 of these, arguably,
what
right?
you said.
Guys, this is, if you can't put together a get rich slow plan doing it this way,
Oh my gosh.
and do so with
can't mess
very
this up.
little risk. I mean, truly, what is the worst case? Again, something significant happening to the properties. It just gets fixed. Something significant happening where you get a nightmare tenant. It can all be fixed, right?
Here's the risk. Here's the worst thing that I could see happening. You're out there looking for deals. You're having trouble. It's a tough market. You haven't watched all the classes that Matt has done. You haven't learned how to do it, and you get discouraged and you stop.
I love that. So the only way to fail is to not keep going.
I think so.
All right, guys. So that obviously is considering a property that we bought back in 2010. Awesome numbers.
Great deal, though. Yeah.
I wish it was 2010 again.
know it.
It's coming, guys. But for now, we're faced with a really red hot, scorching market in almost every city I travel to. You know, I'm all over the country, and every single city I roll into to talk about subjects that we teach and learn about real estate where they are, I just can't believe what's going on. I mean, it's construction everywhere, and people's property values are skyrocketing, and rental rates are going through the roof. Everything seems to be perfect if you're in real estate now, right?
If you've already owned real estate, that's
unless you're a buyer.
For us buyers out
now
there,
it's tough.
Getting a little frustrating.
That's right. So aside from inventory, aside from the competition, aside from the really, really high price points that we're paying, tell us how we can still make a good deal out of using hard money.
You got to work hard, you guys. You got to work hard and find the deals. And in Denver, we haven't seen one of these in the last couple of months, but we did just close one in Minnesota. I think Minnesota, frankly, if I could say this, is a gold mine. If you're in the market doing deals and you're not keeping them in your rental portfolio, you might be making a mistake. I said the same thing about Denver in 2009, 10, and 11, and people became millionaires because of it. So we're looking at Minnesota here on this next case study.
Cool.
We're
Let's
doing
see
a lot of
it. So
lending
this
out
one
there.
you just closed a couple of weeks ago at
Yeah.
the time this video was made, guys. So if you're watching this video, you know, months or years after we produced it, please keep in mind this may not be a recent case study, but if you're watching it within days or weeks of this video being recorded, this is something that's happening today.
Right now, July 2017.
Cool.
So
let's
this
take a look.
client, this is on Excelsior Road out in Minnesota, and this client paid $230,000, which seems like a lot for a single family house, but we're going to walk through this and you'll see why it's a great deal. Repairs $36,000, so it's a bigger repair budget than I did on Worcester.
Okay.
Closing costs $12,900. Again, that's the hard money fees and the title fees. Total acquisition, the three numbers added together, $278,900.
Wow. Okay.
So it seems like a lot, but here's the trick with this one. We talk about this a lot, Matt, is in real estate, you really want to try to find the value add, and that's how you get these upswings and you really create your profit. This one had a really beat up accessory unit, which I know is common in some neighborhoods in Colorado as well.
What's this? Tell us a little bit about it.
It's like a mother-in-law suite. Sometimes it'll be above a garage, sometimes it'll be a separate little house in the back, or sometimes they'll add it off to the side of a house with a separate entrance. This one was a tiny little house as an accessory unit, so it's not considered a duplex, it's a single family with an accessory.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you can find these and you're able to rent both out.
It makes it more marketable to an investor because you can collect two rents,
Exactly.
right?
It's it's better for an investment than it is for homeowners.
Does it add to the resale value as well?
Very little.
Okay.
You would be shocked at what you'd see on an appraisal for an adjustment. It's like $10,000-$15,000.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay, so he found an accessory unit that was all beat up. Nobody wanted the property. He bought it, rehabbed the whole house and the unit. He was in it for $278,900. With the accessory unit, it appraised for $389,000. Okay, so again, you can see this is not going to be a no money down deal. It's a current deal, and I think you're going to like it. Okay, hard money loan, $272,300.
Okay.
Okay, that's 70% of the $389,000 number we talked about.
So money out of the pocket to come and close with you ended up being about how much?
$6,600.
Not bad, guys. So if we can get the $6,600 through liquid capital,
It's not
and it's
hard
the
to
best.
get.
Yes. Okay. Good.
Good. Okay. You got to refinance it like we talked about before. The refinance costs $4,800. Roll that into the refinance loan, just
Right.
as we talked
75%.
about. That's right.
Loan to value, so
the
5%
new
extra.
New loans, $277,100 on this asset.
Okay.
PITI, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, $1,740. $1,740.
Okay.
But because of that accessory unit and the high rents that we're seeing all across the country, gross cash flow on this before debt, $3,550.
Okay, so the gross rental income, $3,550 coming in for the 2 units that were being rented. Okay. So $1,500 for one, maybe $2,050 for the other, something along those lines,
like
right?
that. Okay. Yeah, I think that's exactly right. $2,000, $1,500, and so you got a gross cash flow of $1,810, $1,810 gross cash flow.
Man, that's
for
on fire.
$6,600 out of your pocket,
Golly.
and maybe it wasn't even out of your pocket.
So literally 4 months.
2 hard money loan payments we're gonna think about.
Right.
And he just rehabbed it and got a tenant in there right away. It wasn't hard.
Okay. Tenants on both of them.
Right. That's right. Okay, let's calculate the rate of return or the return on your investment. ROI is a big important number in the real estate world. $1,810 per month. You got to multiply that again by 12 to come up with an annual $21,720 annual gross cash flow.
Okay.
Okay, we take our money out of our pocket, our investment, to calculate that. We have $6,600 that we started with, 2 hard money loan payments, $13,408 out of our pocket.
Okay.
So again,
in total, with the $6,600 to begin with on the first loan, we're looking at under $14,000 out of pocket.
$14,000. So it's not a no money down transaction,
right?
But it's going to be a screaming deal when you see this $21,720 gross cash flow divided by your investment of $13,408. You got an annual rate of return of 162%.
Oof, man, both of these just well above 150% ROI.
And this was done now.
So
this
the
is current.
That's the thing that frustrates me is we do spend time talking about the impending downturn and the next big recession and the likelihood that it will be as bad or even worse than the last one. But it doesn't mean to push the pause button and try and wait it out. You can still get out there and do deals and make yourself wealthier than you were today, tomorrow. And I think that's a really important piece to this story is don't sit on the sidelines doing nothing. It just takes a little bit more time to find these deals.
Yeah. And if you do have a downturn, all you're going to be doing is going to buy mode. You can still keep whatever assets that you have. People still need a place to live. They're still going to pay rent.
We saw rents go up in the last downturn, right? And they went up because we saw a lot of homeowners getting into the rental market space because they lost their houses to short sale and foreclosure. So we saw vacancy rates go down, not up, which in my case led to rate increases for rents.
Yeah, but even if that doesn't happen, I agree with you. We did see that, and we probably will see that again. But even if it doesn't, your cash flow is so strong, you could lose some income and still be able to pay your debt and hold on to that thing right through the downturn.
That's right. Imagine again having $100,000 worth of debt weapons. You could repeat this process 7 different times,
over and over
and
over.
The cash flow position allows you to start paycheck and rent check parking against those leveraged tools to pay them off in a small fraction of the time, and you could just repeat that process all over again and double it. Now you have 14 properties. Now you can see how people like Christian and like Kevin can get out there and really build a portfolio from starting with what? None, guys. Everybody started from 0. Guys, so if you happen to be in the Denver or Minnesota area and you want to work alongside Kevin and Pine Financial Group, make sure and send us an email. We'll put the link in the bio below. It's contact us at vipfinancialeducation.com. Go ahead and throw hard money in the subject line just so I know what it is we're looking for. And I'll personally go out of my way to make sure that you get a warm introduction to Kevin and his team. He'll take top-notch care of you. Guys, they've always done a good job of preferentially preferring our audience and just going above and beyond every single time. Their customer service is well above the standards. Now, if you have not yet done so already, again, consider subscribing to the channel, guys. We always have great, fresh content. We're gonna have Kevin back in as many times as he'll honor us with his knowledge. We have other terrific speakers that if you haven't yet done so, you're gonna wanna see on our other videos. Make sure you're going through some of the most popular there and getting a grasp of what it means to be in control of your money and starting to redistribute the odds of how you're working within the banks. Keep in mind, the system is built for us to fail, folks. So as long as we can get in there and be a lot more proactive, start start to understand that we have more control than maybe we were ever taught, because the school systems have obviously let us down when it comes to this. You guys are gonna really start to up level quickly. It's happened to Kevin, it happened to me, it happened to Christian over here. Guys, we're all approaching 40 years old. And again, we can sit here on a Monday afternoon and shoot the breeze about what we love most. And we know that the money is still coming in. We wanna help every single person out there accomplish something similar. So make sure you like the videos if you want more content like this. Also, if you've ever used money or you have questions about hard money, please make sure you put them in the comments section below as well. We really want the interaction. YouTube favors channels that have interaction, so it helps us a lot to continue to put out new, fresh videos for you when YouTube is treating us kindly. So we're counting on you. Make sure you're interacting with the video. And as long as you are interacting, you'll continue to remain eligible for the contests that we have on this channel. We have a new contest this week. We'll be talking more about it. It's a monthly contest for August 2017. Until we see you on our next videos, guys, thank you again, Kevin. Really appreciate it, my friend.
Welcome,
Always appreciate it. Guys, we're gonna have Kevin back in every chance we get. Same with Christian over here. You guys have been amazing. We love you so much. Check out all of our videos. Until we see you on the next one, make it a great day today and take care.